Morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day. It's your boy Maxwell here with another podcast. Merry Christmas to everyone, and to everyone, a good day. We're here for the last episode of the year, and I want to say a big thank you to every single one of us, fans and listeners alike, who have supported me all through the year. And today, I want to give you a Christmas special. Um, I'm here with my very good friend, Dami. Dami, say hi to everyone.
Well, hi everyone. My name is Dami Lola, but as you can tell, Marshall calls me Dami for whatever reason.
I'm here with my very good friend, Dami. I'm not calling you Dami, I'm calling you Dami. And today we're going to giving you guys an interesting topic. I think we've done Upward versus CU, so we're here to do a more similar comparison between Landmark versus CU. Dami Lola is a recent graduate of Landmark University, and he's going to give us a full comparison between his school and Covenant University. Okay?
All right.
So without wasting too much time, we'll just get into it. So first and foremost, talk about the food in both schools. Personally, I don't have any issue with CU food. Let me rephrase that. I don't have too much of an issue with CU food because I've tasted like poor, like very, very poorly made food. I just feel like they are trying as much as possible to be consistent. The food is not perfect, but the food is not awful. Like it's only you can eat and be like, okay, this is actually calm. But I can say like the size of food is reducing per, I don't know, like only per semester, and the price is going up. Like I remember at 100 level, I'm sorry, obviously I'm in 500 level now. People die, people that are in 100 level probably not even relate to this at all. When I was 100 level, if I'm carrying 1K, 1K can last me for 2 days. Like sincerely, if I'm eating once, 1K can last me for 2 days. I'm sure. Okay, let's calculate it. That back then, pack food was like 350. I'm not wrong. Pack food was like 350. Snacks, I think the highest snack you could get was like 200 to 50 max. Like snacks were really, in fact, I think 200 was even a stretch. Most of like, you get burger was like 150. Sausage roll, or 15 naira. Like it was very, very cheap. So you could get food. Because I remember I used to buy bottled water, a snack, depending on the snack, and like pack food. And I'll use 500 to buy everything and go to my room and be satisfied. Do you get like buying food was not expensive at all. Right now, if you want to buy 1K is one pack of food. And the food you don't even food you. You just eat it and be going. You get my point. Like it's very not interesting. How about you guys?
But you can't exactly blame them, with the current situation. Oh, the food in Blackmark University. I honestly don't know how to comment without insulting people because the food there is so
my God.
like good. It's so bad. Like there was a particular point when I was in 400 level, like just recently, where like for maybe 3 to 4 weeks straight, the only thing I was eating was I'll eat like besides cereal and all that other things. The only thing I was buying from the cafeteria was fries, chips, and chicken. That was it. Okay, and shawarma. That was it. I wasn't buying anything else because at that particular time, I don't just understand what was going on with the food. It was either bad, or it was small, or it was undercooked. I don't just get it. Like those guys I think because it's one person that runs the whole cafeteria. So it's a monopoly business. So he doesn't really care if it's good or not. We don't have any choice to buy it. You get so the quality is not the right from about. The quantity is rubbish. I don't get why. So in Umaro, that place is legit a village. Like if you go there now, everywhere is farm. C4 I don't get food still expensive there. That's crazy.
I think personally, what you mentioned, I was talking to one of my guys that I had a comment on this thing that looking. CU, I didn't even know they did this in Landmark. CU should actually make it a lot less monopolistic because it is more or less like now, like it's not even a monopoly in this case. It's more or less now like the calf guys, the food is just poor. The service is just poor. Like, let's digress a little bit. I don't know how it is for Landmark, but some of those calf guys are just killing rude. Like, I'm trying to get food, okay, and I'm not like when I'm trying to buy food, it's not even as if I'm trying to like be people that know me. If I'm buying food, I'm very polite because I feel like you've probably had a tough day. Probably had a tough day. So there's no even point of both of us to be angry at each other. Let's just do what we need to do and go. So I'll just go there, excuse me, please, I want to buy food. Okay. This people now look you in the eye, okay, carry your plate. Start from you as if no, you insulted them. Okay. They will pack, and honestly, those guys are pros are doing it at this point. They will pack the food, right? And the way they will pack it, it will look as if they packed more food. When you put it in your plate, you just be watching that. What's good? Somebody you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and your plate is not even half. And they will tell you that is I think it's 600 naira 4 scoops. And I'm okay, 600 naira 4 scoops. I'll not be trying to do the math in my head because I'll buy 800 naira rice intentionally. Okay, 600 naira 4 scoops. And I say, okay, maybe 800 naira is another extra 2 scoops, Abi. You will now see this woman pack 1.5. And that one is already small. She will not make that half very tiny. She will not place in your plate. I'll not be begging this woman, man, please now. She will not be looking at me. She's this boy, like, what is the kind of attitude they used to give you when they are serving you food? It always, and personally, I'm not going to make a scene because I feel like I said, everybody has had a tough day. I don't know the kind of human beings these people counted before me. All right. And I don't want to start this thing, but there are some days that sometimes I just feel like jumping over, snatching the thing and just when do something like you're just sincerely like, bro, what are you doing? Just same. Like sometimes I feel like these guys should actually be a lot more reasonable. Like let's say me, I'm buying food now. This is already like what's half closes by 8:30. They made that rule. That's one funny rule, sharp. But we'll just fast sheet. Class closes at 8:30 in the night, 8:30 p.m. All right. This is 8:20. Let's say 8:10, 8:15. They are not going to be up to 20 people behind me. Do you understand what I'm saying? And they will still be inviting the food. Like they are going to bring it back to me. I'm just like, everything in my plan. Let me at least go back knowing that, okay, I'm eating proper food. Like you see them making fresh rice, or let me not say making fresh, like they just brought out fresh jollof rice. I'm saying, okay, put it in my plate. At least I'm saying like it's 15. It's not like they're meant to be happy or they're meant to be like food after you. Just come and put this thing for me. Then I'm seeing, like, I'm not to talk of attitude in calm is not to talk of when you get to places like Botry that I'll buy something, all right? And then one guy will not be telling you, your card, okay, my card declined, all right? Something happened, let's say network issues, all right? And that's another thing. POS network issues is a different story of frustration on our day.
I don't talk about that. I don't even want to talk about that. It's so bad.
You already coming back from class, like you go back from class, sweaty, stressed out. You just want to throw more. You now do like 1.5 POS. Your POS will not decline. Okay, you now take it to the guy. So my POS declined, but obviously they debited me because they always tell you the same thing. Don't worry, to auto reverse. Don't worry, to auto. There's a particular butchery guy that told me to reverse. That was early February till now. That he has not entered my account. And it was anytime I go and meet someone in the going, they ask me, do you get? The guy will be telling me, it's probably your work. I'm like, what does the bank, like sincerely, what does the bank have to do with the money? Like and you email this bank, they will tell you that no, it has entered. Like I emailed because it was GT. I emailed GT. I told them that obviously this thing happened. They were like, no, they did not receive an alert that actually they already transferred the money to the vendor. And I went back to the woman, or the man, like a few weeks after. They were like, they can't start going back to their records that she just fashed it. I was like, well, why are you not telling me that it's the bank? Because obviously, bank guys, they will reply you late. Normally, they have like so many emails to source through and everything. So naturally, they will reply you late. So this was like 3 weeks after. All right. And they obviously replied me and these things happened. It was just very, very frustrating considering the fact that I've already wasted. And this was tricky. It wasn't as if it was 200, 300. I was fashion out. I want this chicken change. But like, it's 2K. Then it was just this period something. Then it is very, very good. All this butchery. I think my worst experience in Commonwealth University so far was when I was buying bread and egg on that chapel. That thing was the devil was just using, really wanted me to nobody react to these things. But that day I was actually I can't remember, it was a Wednesday, I was very, very hungry. It was in 311. I went to go and buy bread and egg. Okay. Because the bread and egg there was not really expensive. I wanted to do POS. Okay, the woman told me that the POS is outside. I should go and do it. I said, no problem. I want to go do my POS outside. I came back inside. I gave her my POS. All right. I waited for about 10 minutes because there were like 3 guys in front of me. She gave them. I waited for like 10 minutes. I noticed that all those 3 had finished. All right. And then this woman just went to go and sit down. In my mind, I thought like she was frying egg. And so she just went to go and sit down. Probably, it's not like I make it fry any faster. So I'll be like, okay. Then I saw notice somebody came after me. And the person got their bread and egg before me. And I was confused. I mean, like, ma, I've been waiting here for almost 30 minutes. Where is my kidney? The mother just looked at me. She was like, hey, you've not paid now. Eh?
You know what, Jay?
I was like, what do you mean you're not paid? I said, ma, I've done the POS, I've given it to you. What do you mean I've not paid? She was like, no. You didn't give me anything. That's not true. Oh my God. Do you know how annoyed I was that? I was like, ma, please, just check. Just check your paper. She was like, you didn't give it to me. Don't tell me to check. Don't stress. I changed it for that woman. I can't even lie. I changed that day. I caused the scene. I was shouting. I was like, ma, please piss me off yourself. Oh, please. I was shouting at this one because I was like, ma, don't piss me off yourself to me. Please, don't piss me. One second, the guy had to come and advocate because I'm not normally that kind of guy to make a scene. But when you're hungry, when you waited for close to 45 minutes for something that should just be like 10, maximum 10, 15 minutes, you waited for an extra 30 minutes. Only for the person to, at the end of the day, she now checks that our basket of period this thing. She now saw it there. She was not apologizing. I was like, man, this thing can be avoided. All you have to do was just check. So that day, I also, and this, you know what irritated me after the whole thing? This woman, hey God, I think this woman was just trying to piss me off. This woman, she was making the food. Problem was that as she was frying the egg, she was now gisting one guy. So basically, she was talking over my food. Wow. I was just looking at this man. I was looking at this man. No, it was another step that I've told the guy to step now. No, I did. But it was another what 3 guys are basically one of them. If the man just finished, I just said, man, that's not my food. Like, sincerely. I just thought that man, that's not my food. Because you were talking about my food and I don't appreciate that kind of thing. The man was annoyed. I said, ma, I've just changed it for you. Don't let me change the game. Ma, just do another one. I waited for another 10 minutes. She did it and I went. Since then, anytime I come to that place, all man respects herself. I respect myself. Although I've not seen her, I didn't see her this. I think the last time I saw her was like 400 level. I've not seen her again this 500. I think they reshuffled them all over again. Man, what you guys, those people, they can piss people off. And sometimes the attitude they give you, mainly because it's a monopoly. Like they can do whatever they want because there's someone was winning this thing. And in my mind, it's like they break it. If they break it, that's everybody. What you sell is what you get. So it'll be a lot more. Yeah.
Another thing is, they like people that is them. I don't know if that's the same for covenants, but in roundabout, they like people that harm them. Especially Gotri guys. If we don't harm them, like if they steal from time to time, and not someone that agrees them or kills them, or even like steal them some cash sometimes, they will just be giving you some attitude. Like, except to talk to them. That's why I asked you if this was another person that was talking to the woman, because the kind of scenario happened to me one time too, like, that I was on the queue, I was about to get food, and this guy just came from nowhere, like, ticket. And this food was like, it remained very small because it was sparked. Like, it remained very small. And this guy just came with ticket and said, how far? Told the guy that I beg. And I'm very sure this guy was just coming because I know the guy very well. He's an engineering course. I know when these things because I have people there. He just came, would get out for he saved for 5 people. And he sold the food. And when he got to my friend, girl, like after that speech, I'm like, put in the alpha, this guy needs to see me. Just because I'm not like one of the guys, people, I don't farm in me. I just go to car, wherever they buy food and get house. That's another thing I'd like to add. Those guys just like farms in for no reason. In my opinion, maybe because they're washed out.
Nah, you're taking things tribal. I think see sometimes they have eternally.
Fuck, bro.
Well, sometimes I think say sometimes I happen to you, but I can't say it's for everybody. But I can't, no, I'll be very honest. I'll be very honest. Sometimes I feel like people respect me because, well, let me not say respect me. People don't piss me off because most of the time when I'm going to calf, I'm wearing my resting anger face. It's not as if I'm angry, but that's just the way I look when I'm like steadily walking. Do you know what I'm saying? So when you naturally see me, you would not obviously want to misbehave because the way I look like is that I'm just ready to change it for you at any given time. Yeah, because that's what some people like when I obviously meet somebody new, the person wants to talk to me, they'll be like, I cannot approach you because you look as if you are. I'm like, I'm not having a bad day. I'm not angry most of the time. So people will call me, what's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with me. That's just the way I look. Like sincerely, I had one of my friends, she was talking to me, she was like, why are you always angry? I said, I'm not angry. There's nothing wrong with me. Half the time, I'm not even like, I'm not even in this realm. I'm in my mind and I'm thinking of something else. It just looks as if I'm angry. You know what I'm saying? But it's still my random. So I'm moving to the more interesting part of this thing. Talk about social life and relationships. Then we'll end with chapter 7. Okay, I'll let you start this one. How's the social life in Landmark?
Social life in Landmark. I feel like I'm the wrong person to ask this because I have the trial one. That is classes, shuffle, and no spell. But let me just give my, let's say, my window experience. The social life in Landmark is very interesting. When there's like let's say corporate, like an arranged social activity. So let me give like an example, maybe trade fair, or like maybe like a night out or something. The trade fair Landmark is very interesting because obviously there are rules that like that guide how things go. Well, I'm always seeing a back and forth between the students and the student affairs with like how treatment is supposed to go, like what is going to be crossing the line that student affairs has put in play. Especially with I'm digressing to rules here, but especially with like boy girl pairing, things like that. So it's always very interesting to me to see how like that works. What I think in Landmark is not bad, but I've only been to private schools, so I don't know what the standard is, I guess. Some departments have like really, really good like cohesion when it comes to arranging talks. Obviously, in computer science, we have some like hackathons from time to time. That's actually pretty good. You meet people, you make connections. Computer science is about making connections. If you don't have connections, you'll fail in this industry. That's just in the tech industry. I mean, so that's it. Then the social life outside that, when it comes to sports, it's pretty decent. As long as you're able to play around the rules, is pretty good. Their relationships, relationship around has to be the funniest thing ever. Because in my mind, there are two types. There is, okay, let's say 3 types. We have the baby relationship, the little kids that are just playing. Then we have the somewhat adult. Then we have the spiritual. The little kids relationship is very funny to me. That one is usually like one outdoor. Oh, are you like having issue with this particular course? Let me tutor you, in the library. And you see like boy girl in the library going every day, consistently every day in the library. What are you reading? It's not the same course that we are doing. Computer science every day. What are you reading? Jack. So that one is just really funny to me. And I can give numerous examples. There's always no plenty. Especially on the 100 level, but those ones typically don't last. Like maybe a month. But I know one that lasted throughout my stay in Landmark University, which is crazy. If those guys don't end up marrying, something went wrong somewhere. Anyway, the other kind of relationship is the mainstream one, people meet, and they want to have. Okay, because for example, I know particular gap. I want to mention is well, but the dynamics went well, and every day when he came out from classes, especially when we would final year, almost every day we like finished with everything outside by like 6, 7, from like 8, which is I feel like is a long time for me. It's just to come to the hostel, have my bath, relax, eat, maybe people. So this guy will come, remove his clothes, shower, wake up, go outside again. To go talk to bed till real cold time. I really don't understand. what are you talking about? For God's sake. Like, I have no friend. I don't meet them often. Like, I meet them every other Saturday. Jesus, what are you guys talking about? And there's nothing, there's no, there's no physical relationship thing, obviously, right now at university. I don't, maybe it's just me, but I don't, a relationship is not as good without the physical part of it. I don't mean just sex, but, like the physical touching, like the cuddling, like the, just that contact of intimacy doesn't just work well enough. But these guys will just be talking and talking and talking. Don't they get bored? Like, someone that gets bored of this easily, if I'm talking with one person consistently for that long period of time, if I don't break up after 2 weeks, I swear. Then the other kind of relationship is the spiritual one. That one is, I think that's the best one. If I have spiritual, that's the best one. Because you guys will just be vibing in tongues, you guys will, I decided people in council, the offices, you guys just going there, chilling. They're going to be avoiding M&As every time. Just go chill, talk, every once in a while, when you go home again, yes, I'll meet up. Yeah, that was probably the best one. At least from what I've heard, though. I was never in a relationship because I just thought there was no point. But yeah, that is my take on this topic.
Okay. Talking about social life. Well, I keep saying this thing, I'm an ambivert. I don't exert myself that much. I'm not an introvert, I'm not an extrovert. I'm individual. Social life from the window point of view, well, I feel like he doesn't have much social life. If we're being very honest, outside what they call this term, outside chapel events, what is the social life? I feel like the one time reception when everybody is pumped, everybody's engaged, is Chancellor's Cup. Outside Chancellor's Cup, everybody does their own thing. Like Omega, I can say that the last time I really enjoyed at Omega semester was Omega is the time when like everything usually happens. And the last time I enjoyed on Omega semester was like I think 200 level. 200 level, yeah, there were a lot of activities, it was fun, this and that. 300 level was dates. 400 level, funny enough, 400 level Omega that was on IT was now, according to people, and to be honest, even when I was online, I was saying so much, the most interesting Omega that has happened ever. Like events upon events upon events. Like college week was actually college week. Like it was fun, and they had a lot of events. They were giveaways. They brought the bouncy castle to school. You see, 500 level student, senior man that was supposed to be senior man, bouncy castle. Like it was. They had like an open mic. They had an open mic night in front of like, I think Peter Hall around the basketball courts. We guys were just rapping. Guy, it was crazy. And my question is, where were all these plans when I was in school? Shame would not even reason this thing. Why is it when I was on I decided to pull up all the see guys just on my DMs telling me, guy, Omega was this, like it was fun. I was just like, guy, why are you telling me? I'm not in school. Also, to see social life, I can say that when they really want to do it, is good. Trade fair is just an opportunity for guys to get broke. I feel like trade fair is like Valentine's Day in Pro Max. Or no, like Valentine's Day is like trade Pro Max, because Valentine's Day is the way you just see guys go all out to buy things for babes and start soaking Gary the next week. So I can't just be going out buying. And then for trade fair, you see guys that don't have money going to go and pull out money. Guy, that will not take me into the relationships. I think if you want to classify it using your standards, if you talk about the baby ones, I cannot fathom what 100 level and 200 level people are doing in a relationship. And this is so hypocritical, really, considering the fact that I was in 200 level and I did. I found out so hypocritical. But I cannot even understand what 200 level, like, now that I think about it, I can just imagine myself. I mean, 200 level, because it looks so, I don't want to call it childish, because to me, you don't know what you're doing. Sincerely, like you're very fun. You don't know what you're doing. You're just playing around. Sincerely, and you're risking so much. Anyway, 120. It's not that hard to start all over again. It's not really that hard. So if you get caught and anything happens, who moved too far? I think okay. We now talk about the mainstream one. Well, I can't even say it. If I'm being brutally honest, like if I'm being straightforward and honest, for the mainstream one, and this is like for people that are not like in chaplaincy and spiritual, I really find a relationship, and I say really because I've found, but it's not much. I really find a relationship between two people that are like in higher level, or at least one higher level, one lower level, whatever you want to call it, that is not purely gives. When I say purely gives, like the main driving force gives. Like if one of them should say, I'm not doing it again, like I'm not doing this again, that will crumble into pieces straight. Like and I think it's really, really because like, again, I don't go out much. All right. So I'm basically privy to what people tell me. All right. And from what I've heard, from what I've been exposed to, it is mostly like that. Like you just because you have some people, all right. And how I know this is because the way people make up in CU, and I'm saying this, it is privy to what I have heard. Okay. Somebody fought with somebody, something happened, and I can't even lie. If you talk about social level just then just in CU is juicy. Like, oh, sometimes I just I'm just like, yeah, it is like you hearing some people do something, I'm like, this person from the bottom of their heart, they concocted this thing. You can't tell me that you just woke up one day and you decided to do this. Like this kind of things that you'll be doing. It takes planning. And I'll say this
I'm
thing
sure.
from the guy's point of view, guy, there is no better tactician. There is no better strategist than a girl that wants to cheat. The way they will plan and strategize how they will be playing four boys at the same time, and none of them, oh my, maybe one of them will know, but they won't just be okay with it. And you just, sincerely,
Oh my God.
like you, sometimes I hear stories and I'm like, fair play to the girl. Like I like when you know somebody doing something bad, but you're so rooting for this person because this storyline is too good for it to just spoil like that. like like the storyline is being good. I've concocted. Like okay, let me give you a story. Let me give you a general story just for one podcast. I had a friend who had a coursemate. All right, this babe, that was the coursemate, had a standard boyfriend. Like she had one boyfriend. Okay, that was her main. Right now, this is the guy she actually loves. The problem with this guy was the guy was not doing gigs. Like he's not a chaplaincy person, but he just gives life to Christ. So he just joined the service unit and he didn't want to like he gave up that old life. All right. So they were dating before he joined chaplaincy. All right. And the babe obviously was he didn't want to join chaplaincy. She didn't want to join. She didn't want to do this thing. But he just found out that they was considering their relationship. So the babe obviously quote unquote had her needs, all right, and she was pressuring the guy. The guy didn't want to like give in. I mind you, the guy is a very good person, like a very good person. Like he treated her well. He took her out. You understand? He was there for her. So obviously she's not going to let that go up because of just gives. Like gives is not everything. Okay. So her solution to it was like, why not just find another person to sort me out? Do you understand what I'm saying? And so what the babe did was that I think the guy is a CST and the CWS. They're not in the same level. The guy's in 400, the girl's in 300. So babe now went to COE 200 level. Like that's what even most me. She did want to like do what this kind of thing where and the way they were like the babe was because the cosmate was telling my friend, she was like she had to do something where nobody would expect because obviously if you see like a 300 level you're talking to a 200 level guy, you won't even think of anything now. You will suspect. You get what I'm saying? Like your parents. At this point she was saying she was like they will suspect. So obviously there will be nothing there. All right. And she told the guy straight up, she texted the guy, like first she flirted with him. Obviously the guy caught on. He was 200 level boy, 300 level be checking you. How you not? How you know me? Your boy will be doing you shall see the right point. But obviously the guy, bro, you both see the guy then. Obviously from the guy's point of view, the guy is like, obviously he's right. But she made him know that this is a clear like first benefits vibes. It's not anything serious. All right. And the guy agreed. He was like, there's no problem with it, there's no issue. And he went ahead. Okay. And for me, she now found out that okay, this guy got boring. She left that one, not left him. She didn't tell him that she now went to another person in her level. So that is now 400, 300, 200. Let's just call the long and short. At the end of the semester, she was shot with 4 boys. different. And she used to rotate it. Like her boyfriend was normal. Her boyfriend was like always stagnant. But the other three, she just used to rotate it. As she's feeling, she'll just be changing. And basically, I can't go into the real story because of like confidential stuff. But like the way this girl was maneuvered, there was a time like her boyfriend was coming and the friends benefits was coming. The way this babe, she manipulated her boyfriend into feeling like, I don't even understand. Like she faked her period. Okay, she faked period pain in front of the guy. All right. And obviously, I think the guy was, I don't know whether he was feeling annoyed that day or something. The guy was feeling annoyed. She now gaslighted the guy to think he don't care about me. I'm in pain, like I'm behaving like nothing's happening. And guy, it's wrong. This is really this baby like guy. You're pushing this thing to a serious extent. And then you don't have like the chaplaincy. Now what I'll say about chaplaincy is that sometimes it's not as sweet as it sounds. Because you find out, because I was had the privilege to obviously talk to some chaplaincy people, and then you really find out that, to be honest, some of them are not as genuine as you would actually think they are. But then that's the story for another day. Yeah. So every chapter was just public service.
Or let's just not call it the spiritual, yeah, spiritual. Actually, thing we talk about. That's actually the best to talk about. Not so things like that. Anyway, spiritual life is, let's say, interesting. I don't know. I can't be the one to say because my spiritual story is for oh my spiritual life is pretty interesting. With chapel services, basically we have, the normal Sunday, they will have weekly, they will have church. I think the interesting about chapel services is it really depends on the pastor. When I was in like younger, when I was in 100 level, 200 level, one thing that really annoyed me about chapel services was, or maybe so specifically about the pastor at that time was during service here, after the choir finishes their ministration. So everybody will basically be standing up because this guy is going to climb the altar. So we'll be standing, and this guy will come again and lead like a 10-minute worship session after the choir finished the stream. And I'm like, God damn, that seems to me so much. Then again, the timing, oh my God, Jesus. But let's just say this was when I was on sick then. Well, that was just one thing that used to annoy me a lot about chapel service. Well, I guess as we moved on, then I think at that time when I was in 200, we got a new chaplain, and that guy was more of a good part. So chapel service became more lively, more interesting. I think chapel service really depends on the person ministering and your willingness to, participate and check what that person is saying, going for, obviously. And besides that, there are obviously other things that affect the service, like the choir, Sometimes the choir really makes the service for me. There's a particular girl that, and when she ministers, she's basically copying, or she basically ministers like this song called. Anytime they say a cool song that she ministers or more, when I go back to my hostel that day, I will just feel like praying because I'm not a prayer warrior. Because man, it just hits so hard. So that's another thing. Sometimes the people that are, are obviously ministry make it for you. Then other times it can be like members of the ushering unit, sometimes they kill the service. Like when there's like a very stupid argument or more, throwing shit on somewhere and there's wrong and nobody lost to listen. It really kills the service. So there's so many factors that affect the industry on how you perceive things. It's very funny. I just think at the end of the day, it just depends on the person and your willingness to accept, whatever is being presented to you.
I think you're right, but I think from a CU point of view, Covenant University chapel service, I think what I always tell people is that if you're a CU and you're complaining about chapel service at this point in time, like having chapel service, then you're not supposed to pay CU because I feel like at this point you just get used to it. So that's the first thing. Chapel service is actually interesting. I think the only thing I don't like, and I'm not talking about chapel service, I'm talking about chapel in general. I think the one thing I don't like is the amount of politics in chapel. Like sometimes the politics in chapel makes chapel less of a spiritual place and more of like, I don't know, like house of assembly. in a way. I know that people don't understand what I'm saying, understand what I'm saying. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they made chapel so less about God and more about power and position. And in the actual fact, this thing, and for people that understand, people understand. Real power in C is not by being able to enter some certain circles or doing something. Basically, real power in C is about having information. Information is key. Once you have information, you'll be so surprised how life will be so easier for you and things will just be smoother for you. All right. I think there are a lot of people that are running CU that are not in student council, sincerely. One of my guys, I don't even want to cast the guy, but let's just say he's privy to a lot. Let's just put that, he's privy to a lot. Just like, I can tell that guy, like, to be honest, that guy can do, I don't do if he wants to, but due to, humility and these kind of things. Now back to Chapel. Chapel is usually very calm. Like, to be honest, is sometimes the highlight of my week. I'll say sometimes because sometimes obviously guys mess up. Like, sometimes you mess up. Like, some Chapel services and me, I it's like that one. I started participating ever since I was like 200 level because I realized if I'm going to be here for 2 hours, might as well make the best of it. Just participate. Like, if I thought I think that's the mentality I came with first. If I'm going to be here, even if it's just 4 hours, 2 hours, I think participate and make the best of it. But as I grew in the faith, you tend to understand and enjoy the presence of the Lord more. So obviously at that point in time, it was more like I was willingly participating, and I was like participating because I wanted to get something from God. So obviously I got more. So there's that. But in general, you just feel like sometimes, okay, usher things. I have friends in ushering. In fact, I think some of the heads of ushering are even my guys. When I talk to them, sometimes I can see that, okay, some people are difficult. Like, okay, generally, it's not I think ushers want to be rude, but some people themselves are very difficult. Like, okay, you're asking somebody, this place is not supposed to be for this set of people. It has been reserved for, let's say, the service unit now, that we reserved for a service unit. So please, you cannot be here. So where I will not be only your face, talking shit. I'm just like, guy, there are easier ways. Like, this thing. If you're in 100 level, it's understandable. Like, you're in like 400 level, this thing. Yes, you just want to. So I can understand sometimes, like, ushers make sense because not necessarily their fault, is the way things are. Do you know what I'm saying? So I can understand that. And then when we're talking about other parts of the service, I think choir, I've been being critical of choir, and this is not to shade anybody in choir. I know the amount of effort they put in. I used to say this thing, the hardest service you need to be in is choir, because the devotion you need to be in choir, it's setting or prayer level, they not. But I would say that sometimes choir, almost every day. Sometimes choir can make or break the service. Like, sometimes the administrations out of this world, like, sincerely, and then sometimes the administrations are like, come on, like, I was like, I think I remember that we don't sit together, but sometimes we just come to the room, and the first thing before I said it, once we just look eyes inside that room, the guy will just understand and just say, bro, that be man. I'll be like, that be, bro. Yeah, sometimes when they hit, when they miss. Like, sometimes I just how do we like this on the mic? Like, there's sometimes when you know that, okay, it's the mic that messed this person up. Like, this is not the person. But there's sometimes you know that these people, they messed up. Like, like big time. So first that you understand that, okay, this is that. You get what I'm saying? So understandable, very honest, understandable, honest. What other thing? I think I like our chaplain, and I've not said this since PKM, since Pastor Kayode Martins. Pastor Kayode Martins is head and shoulders above everybody else. But I think I like this new chaplain. His preaching is interesting. His ministrations are interesting. He carries us along. He's not just talking to audience. Do you know what I'm saying? And I like, I don't think he's a big pastor, but he's not just talking to audience. He's talking to us. He carries us along. He brings in things that apply to us on a daily basis. And then when he preaches, he knows how to joke, when to come back to seriousness. Like, there's just a good flow of it. You get, like, it's not the whole preaching, very just straightforward. We're just talking. Sometimes he will have conversations with us, like, some of you, we've caught you behind chapel. We know what you're doing. You understand? Before grace, just like that kind of thing where he knows that he's actually talking to us as a father. not as a dictator. Do you understand? And this is not to shade any other thing. I don't mention anybody's name, but I like him as a and regardless of what everybody else says, generally I feel like he's a really, really, really nice person. Like he just doesn't like stress, and then he doesn't want to be disturbed in chapel. So when people are making noise and then he gets annoyed, that one I can fully understand. Like, to be honest, I can't fault him for being annoyed when he's, trying to, let's say he's not the one preaching, for example. Let's say Pastor Isaac, Widipo comes in and he's preaching, and then some people are making noise somewhere. Obviously, to be annoying when you're trying to listen to somebody, hearing some murmurs, so I can understand. Even me sometimes, like, guys, get making noise. Do you know what I'm saying? It's kind of annoying. So for him to get angry over that, sometimes I can fully grasp it. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. This is wild. So I think that's what brings us to the end of this particular episode. But before we go, do you have anything that singles out? I mean, you're a graduate of Landmark now. So what's like encapsulating your Landmark experience? Encapsulate your Landmark experience in just like a short notes.
Okay. I guess my experience was pretty a novel experience. I didn't pursue as much as I could. So I guess one thing I took from my whole 4 years at Landmark is, Landmark is a school where you just have to like accept that this is what you came for, and participate as much as you can, because you never can tell where like something that will change your life, where it's coming from. It could be in service, it could be when you're playing sport. Generally not about school to being, not about school at all to being. It's just that acceptance. I feel like just everybody has to go through it, and if you don't go through it well enough, you'll miss out on a lot. But that's the daily principle.
Okay. For me, that I still didn't see you. I think what I'll tell everybody is try to enjoy your university experience so much and as much as you can, because to be honest, it's shorter than you think. Comparing when I came into school right now, it looks like you blink of an eye. Like I'm already in final year and I'm like, what have I really like? How many years like 5 years have just gone so fast. And then it's like, wow. It's like I can still remember in 2019 when I just came in to see you. My room in Peter Hall, my roommates, Jonathan, like just yesterday. And now I'm in final year, about to do my defense, about to do all these things. And I'm just like, wow, you get what I'm saying? And funny, secondary school lasted so long. Secondary school lasted as if it was decades of Durham, and it was actually just seated. And it was not progress. And then it now so short. And then, well, it is well. Thank you so much, Dami, for being on the episode. If you like, also, don't worry, you guys. I'll drop Dami's Instagram just in case you guys like his voice and you want to speak to him. It's not a problem. So, as well. Thank you guys for listening. And I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.